Hi, this is Dave from Cultural Laptop Magazine, and we're here today with Mike Bowman from Intel. And what do we have over here?
What we have is a game that allows people to learn a little bit about the kind of problems that they'll have in the case of a disaster. It's really a community awareness kind of game. And so we have a model of a city. We introduce some kind of a disaster. In this case, it's a simulated gas main explosion. And then the game is really how do you find your family. You can imagine, you know, if you send your kid downtown and you hear that there was a big explosion and a very large disaster downtown, you're worried about how you're going to find your family and how you're going to put it back together. And there are many of those sort of challenges about communication, about how you find people, how you deal with interacting. And all we're trying to do with the game is to just give that sense of challenge that people have about trying to find other people in this environment. So it's really just a community awareness kind of game.
Fantastic. So who developed this game?
We did on top of two things, the Open Simulator 3D application platform and Intel's distributed scene graph technology. So although we're showing in the game here for the demonstration purposes a fairly large number of non-player characters that are just running around, the technology allows us to actually bring in real people to play the game.
Some avatars moving around.
But if I have, I'm looking for Ty, and Ty is at a particular set of coordinates, and I can move around in order to go find that particular avatar. And so really it's just about, in this case, it's about being able to move around in the space. Again, for demo purposes, we've really simplified this, and we're doing a couple of ways of getting as much of the computation local as we can, which is part of the reason why the animations and some of the other things don't work. But we're playing with, one section of a fairly complex model of a city. And when we play the full game on some of the full internet technology that we have, that distributed scene graph that I talked about, we can actually play with literally thousands of people spread throughout the city. And so we can have literally thousands of people that are interacting in these spaces. The cool part about that is people don't act the way you expect them to. They both find good new solutions, and they also create new kinds of problems. And so part of what we like about these environments and that we've learned from these serious games is it's the questions people ask, it's the places where the game didn't do what they wanted to do that are really the interesting things.
So what sorts of people have been playing this game, and where could someone play it?
In this case, this one it's still under development. One of the more mature versions of the game we have is a game called Water Wars, which is a water management game that we did in conjunction with Sandia National Labs. And you can get in contact with Intel or Sandia in order to look at ways to participate in that game.
Cool. What kinds of problems have people introduced into the game that you didn't expect?
Well, we've seen it mostly in things like in Water Wars, where we bring in the case of Water Wars, it's a simulation of water management in the Rio Grande Valley in New Mexico. And we bring in developers, ranchers, legislators, and they play different roles and try to do this water management. And it's interactions like, one farmer will say, well, the game doesn't capture this part of the decision-making process that I use. And it's those dialogues that they have that give us much more information about both what's important to these people as a policy generator, but also gives us a way of sort of continuously refining the game in order to make it better and better and more realistic.
Wow, fantastic.